Hello, and welcome to Maybe I Can, exploring possibilities one sprinkle at a time. If you've ever found yourself asking, is this all there is to life? Then you're in the right place. I'm Debbie, author, speaker, entrepreneur, and coach. And every Tuesday, I'm here to share a sprinkle of hope and inspiration. Together, we'll uncover the more joy, more fulfillment, more prosperity, more fun. We'll share stories of transformation, actionable tips, and that little nudge you need to take the next step. So let's embark on this journey of discovery and say, maybe I can, to a life filled with more. Ready to find out? Let's get started. The Maybe I Can show starts now.
Well, hi there and welcome. I'm your host, Debbie Weiss, and it's so nice to be back with you again this week. Before we dive into this week's topic, I don't know why, but I feel called to share something personal. I guess maybe you can relate. Maybe if you've got any tips after you hear what I have to say, I'd love it if you emailed me or DM me on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or any of those places. So if you follow me and you watch me on social, you know that I have a dog. His name is Yogi. I don't want to say it too loud because then he'll wake up from under my desk. And he's my 12-and-a-half-year-old Maltipoo. And he's my dog, meaning he is attached to me. Since the time that I got him, I've always brought him to my office with me. So he's been coming to the office every day since he was eight weeks old. You know, he's not the dog who's afraid of the car. He loves it because, you know, he's in it all the time, going to places and seeing people that he loves. And this is the crummy part. He only wants me to take him out for a walk, not any of my boys. So that's a little bit of a problem. I don't know how that developed. But, you know, he sleeps with me. He sits there while I shower. It's like, you know, he's my companion. And since my husband died, and even before that, you know, when he was ill for a long time prior, he's my buddy. You know, he's been my partner. Well, he's never really had any health problems. I don't remember if I said, but he's 12-and-a-half. I think I did. And last June, he had to have a fatty growth removed from his chest that was like starting to impede his movement and his comfort. And it's probably a coincidence, but ever since then, it was like it opened up the floodgates. We found out then that he had, oh my goodness, a heart murmur. Okay, not a big deal. It didn't seem like he had heart disease, just something we had to watch. And then out of the blue over the summer, he had severe pancreatitis. He was hospitalized like 3 different times in 2 weeks and almost didn't make it. And that was awful. And then we got through that. And then most recently in February, he was hospitalized again, kind of out of the blue, for pulmonary hypertension, severe pulmonary hypertension. And since that time, he came home with, I don't even know how many pills. And it's not just the number of pills, it's that some of them have to be broken in half. So it's like I have to give him 1.5 of these, which really equates to 2 different pills. And did I mention he is the most stubborn thing out there? When he digs his heels in, he digs them deep. And so when he first came home, I mean, I have to give him, let's say in one sitting, 8 pills twice a day, and then one other time a day, 2 pills, which of course seems like nothing. Well, he doesn't do the pill pockets. He doesn't do peanut butter. He used to do, and I'm not saying it out loud, CHEESE, because he's under me. He used to do, that stopped working. I put him in meatballs. The doctor once said, try liverwurst, tried that. I tried everything under the sun. and he won't take them. So I tried the injector thing, inject it in his mouth. I hold his mouth like I think I know all the tricks, unless I'm not executing them properly, which is a very good chance. Um, it was really tough. And then I figured it out. Oh, after each pill, I'll just give him a TREAT. And at first it didn't work. And then, he's a dog, like Pavlov's dog. He realized, okay, give me one of those and I'll take the good thing that's coming afterwards. Now I've created a monster with this. And you're talking 8 times 2, 16 plus the other pills, like 20. That's 20 extra TREATSs a day. And sometimes when he doesn't feel like it, he holds it in his mouth, especially the little powdery ones. He holds it in his mouth, and I think he swallowed it. And all of a sudden, I'll be walking around my kitchen. I'll be like, "What's this white powder?" Because I've stepped on the pill because he holds it in there, and I don't even. I mean, I'm watching him for a while to see if he spits it out. I don't know. He must just keep it in there and whatever. Um, I'll segue this into our topic, which is a sprinkle of courage. Is that this past weekend, he had another pancreatitis attack. Luckily, a milder version. We were back in the hospital. He didn't have to be hospitalized. Of course, they sent me home with more pills. And I'm afraid. I'm afraid. This is a little bit different. There's not much that I can do about it other than anything that I'm being told, and which I do. But he's 12 and a half, and the pulmonary hypertension can't be reversed. It's just really to make him comfortable, and that's what all the pills are for. And nobody knows how long he'll be around, but it's scary. It's scary because he's my partner, and I already lost one partner, and I'm not ready to lose another. So, all right, well, that was a really uplifting start to a sprinkle of courage. So let's move on and try and make this a little more inspirational instead of me being a Debbie Downer. So thanks for allowing me to share what's on my mind and my heart today. So a sprinkle of courage. Let's finally jump in. I want to talk about our comfort zone, because I don't know about you, and maybe you're not like me. There are a lot of brave people out there who know the benefit of getting out of their comfort zone and stepping into that fear. That has personally not been me. I am a scaredy cat. I was a scaredy cat from the time I was born, of anything and everything. But besides being afraid of maybe the typical kid stuff, monsters in my closet in the dark and spiders and those kinds of things, I also was afraid of new situations. Not only going to school for the first time or the first day of school when you're unsure of who's going to be in your class and your teachers and all of that. I'm talking like going into a restaurant I was unfamiliar with, going as a little girl to another family's house for dinner, and we had never gone there for dinner before. Things that just made me uncomfortable, that I was unsure what was going to happen there. What were they going to serve? What if, and I would think of all of the what if scenarios in my head. Well, of course I was petrified. And so growing into an adult, those fears didn't leave me. But now at the ripe old age of 60, after having to confront them, and a lot of times being forced to confront them, and looking back, I'm grateful for that because it allowed me to grow. What I've learned is that when you are able to step out of that comfort zone and face your fears, good things await on the other side. And if you don't push yourself, then you stay stagnant. And that's not what we want, right? We want to grow in this life. We want to continue to expand and learn about ourselves and our capabilities. So Wayne Gretzky, the hockey player, said, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take." And I used to always tell my younger son, Ben, this because he played basketball up until high school, early high school. And he also suffers with anxiety. Same kind of stuff that I did, maybe a little bit to the little more intensely than me. But anyhow, he was in practice. This kid was a really good basketball player. As a matter of fact, when he got onto the freshman team in high school, it was like, okay, this was a coach that hadn't seen any of these kids, come up through the ranks on the travel teams and all that stuff. So he just evaluated them on what he saw in practice. And he had my kid as a starter. Well, my kid was never a starter. And it was unbelievable. We were so proud. And Ben got out there, and then Ben did what he always did. He didn't shoot. He didn't shoot. There was a golden opportunity. He didn't shoot. He didn't drive the basket. He was afraid, he was soft on defense. Why? He was afraid of taking the shot because he was going to miss. He was afraid of being called for a foul. And the next thing you knew, he went back to being a bench warmer. He wasn't meeting his potential. He was afraid. He was afraid. He was afraid that he would miss the shot. And I don't want to say that ended his basketball career. And look, I'm not saying that he was going to be the next Michael Jordan. Maybe if he wanted to, he could have been, but that just wasn't for him. But it's not just about sports. It's not just about basketball. It's taking your shot in life, because you're going to miss everything if you never do it, if you never step out of that comfort zone. Originally, look, why do we do it? Because what can happen out of our comfort zone? We could be emotionally or harmed or physically. I mean, going back to evolution in caveman times, it was good that we were afraid, right? We had to be aware of our surroundings. We didn't want to be eaten by a tiger. And so our body has a natural response, that fight or flight response, that triggers all of the heart rate and the breathing and tensing up, and all those things served us well and serve us well when we're endangered in that type of manner. But I'm not talking about that, right? I'm talking about trying something new, something out of your routine, something you're afraid of. Because what are we mostly afraid of? I think we're afraid of failing. We're afraid of being embarrassed or ashamed when we put ourselves out there. I just started actually writing something in my next book about the fact that when I quit smoking, and yes, okay, roll your eyes, whatever, but if you're not of my age or generation, you probably wouldn't know that when I was young, both my parents smoked, everybody smoked. You could smoke everywhere. You could smoke planes, trains, automobiles, malls, movie theaters, restaurants. Like, there was no off limits everywhere. And I didn't want to say out loud. What wound up happening was I got sick I was in my 20s, and I got sick with a bad case of mono, and I was still smoking. And it was like, why am I smoking? I feel like crap. This is ridiculous. But at that point, I'd been smoking since I was like 13 years old. And I don't mean a little bit. Like at 27, I was smoking probably a pack and a half a day. That's a lot. And I decided I'm just gonna not smoke for an hour because I feel like crap. And then I extended it 3 hours, a day, 2 days, 3 days. I didn't smoke for 3 days. And I thought to myself, I'll never get another head start. But if I say out loud that I'm quitting, and once I feel better, then physically I could feel crummy because I won't be smoking. I'm going to be embarrassed. I'm going to be embarrassed if I fail. And that's a bad example because we want to get out of, I should want to quit smoking. That's not the kind of comfort zone I'm talking about. I'm talking about opportunities. When I first, my first career, I was a CPA for 10 years. I'm from Long Island, and that's where I worked. And I got an opportunity to move to New Jersey and Western Central New Jersey, a part of New Jersey I was unfamiliar with, to become an insurance agent. And I didn't know anything about insurance. I didn't know anything about Western New Jersey, and I didn't know anyone there. And it scared the living daylights out of me. But I was kind of done with what I had been doing at my job and didn't know what I wanted to do. And I remember just thinking, what if? What if it doesn't work out? What if I fail? What if I lose, all the money that I need to invest, which at the time was a lot for me. Then I didn't have it. And then I thought, 30 years old. What if I don't do it? What if this winds up to be the magic? I don't want to say the magic answer, but what if this turns out to be something really positive? And I was too chicken. And I did it. And I don't know if I would have done it if I I had just been married, or actually, I guess we were engaged at the time that I had to make the decision. We had to make the decision. And Gary, my husband, was going to work there with me. It was going to be my agency because that's just the way it had to be set up. But he was going to work there with me. And so it didn't feel like I was doing it alone. I don't really know. And honestly, I don't think I would have been as brave if I didn't have him to kind of fall back on and have as a partner. And we did it. And the first 2 years were miserable. I mean, miserable. If it weren't for my friend, if it weren't for Gary, I would have turned around, got in my car, and drove right back to Long Island and begged my accounting firm to take me back. But I couldn't because my friend had gone out on a limb, and, Gary was encouraging, and we were in it together. And May 1st, I'm celebrating my 29-year anniversary as an insurance agent. So I would say it worked out. And in the end, it did wind up to be, it has given me so many opportunities. And it was life-changing. And what if I hadn't done that? How many things have you and I turned our backs on because we've been afraid? We need to learn how to step out of our comfort zones because, and I love this, fear stands for fantasized experiences appearing real. Boy, how many things, crazy stuff do we make up in our minds? Things that most likely will never happen. I don't have the exact statistic in front of me, but it's somewhere close to 90% of the things that we're afraid of will not happen. And a majority of the things that will happen won't happen as badly as we picture them. Those are pretty darn good odds. So why not step out of our comfort zone. Think of all the good things that are waiting on the other side. Think about in your past the things that you had originally been afraid of, but then got the courage, however you got the courage to step through them. I am sure whether it wasn't a pot of gold waiting on the other side, in hindsight, I'm sure you can see the benefit of, of making that jump, that leap of faith. So how do we get ourselves out of this comfort zone? We have to start small, just like everything else, all our goals, our habits, all the things. It has to be something small. It's not going to be, something like changing your career, like I just talked about. So the best way to do it, and this is so funny if you think about it, is to start to do little changes to your routine. I don't remember where I first heard this. And at first I thought it was so ridiculous, but let's think about how ingrained we are in our routine. And one of the things that I heard that I thought sounded ridiculous is change the way you drive to work. What? Really? Like, that's not scary. But you know what? It's different. And gosh, it's hard because you're on such autopilot. But it's a great place to start every day, every morning. Let's say, wake up at a little bit different time, drink something different, change up the order of whatever you do things, when you eat, when you shower, all that stuff. Or if you don't do it in the morning, do it at lunchtime, do it when you come home at night. Like, you get the idea. Any of your regular routines, the things that you usually do, the same thing one after the other, think of ways that you can really start to change them up. Again, start small and then build on it. Your mind will get used to, like, well, at first it'll be like, hey, what is she doing here? But after a while, it's like, working that muscle, work that flexibility muscle, so to speak. And, maybe I can came from because all I ever did was say, maybe I can't, or no. How about change that up? Stop that knee-jerk reaction like I have and start becoming a yes woman or man. Instead of saying no, say yes to something you're uncomfortable with or afraid of, whether it is like going to a social thing or a networking thing where you don't really know anyone, trying something new, a new hobby, going out with a new group of people, going to a party, something like that stretches you. Again, not too crazy, but just a little bit uncomfortable. When I was younger, and even now, it's not something that I really enjoy. I would never go in anywhere, and I don't mean a sit-down restaurant because I still haven't done this, but I wouldn't go into like a pizza parlor or a sandwich shop or something like that and eat in there. I might go in, order it to go, and then go eat in my car. So just doing that, was very, very difficult, but now it's not. I tried that too with going to the movies by myself. My cousin would always go to the movies by herself. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you do that. Blah, blah, blah. It made me so crazy. And then I thought, maybe that's what I need to do. And I have. I don't do it often, especially these days. You don't need to go to the movies, but go to the movies by yourself. You get the idea. Whatever it is that makes you just a little bit uncomfortable, try and incorporate this into your everyday life because it'll make a difference in the end. I wouldn't be here. Well, one, I wouldn't be here if I never said yes to the insurance because it's allowed me the opportunity to grow as an individual and tap into my personal growth and allows me the time to be able to come and share what I've learned with you. So what do you need to do? I mean, you probably know what you need to do, but you don't want to do it because it scares you. So what are you going to commit to starting small? What small thing can you do? You're listening right now. What can you do today? Something different. Will you drive home a different way? Eat something different. Maybe eat the same thing for breakfast or lunch every day. Eat something different. Talk to somebody new. Maybe you don't usually talk to people when you're waiting in line at a supermarket. Will you do that today? Say hello, give someone a compliment. I would love to hear what you feel comfortable doing. Well, no, you shouldn't feel comfortable. I want to know what you're going to do to get yourself out of that comfort zone. So please email Debbie@DebbieRWeiss.com. Share your thoughts, share your feedback. I think that's all I got for you today. Make it a great day, everyone.
Thanks for spending part of your day with me here on Maybe I Can, exploring possibilities one sprinkle at a time. It's been great having you, and I hope you're leaving with a spark to light up your journey to more. Remember, every big change starts with a single maybe. If you're ready to kickstart that change but not sure where to begin, I've got just the thing for you. Head over to download my free guide, The One Critical Step to Kickstart Change, and take that all-important first step. Let's make those maybes into reality one sprinkle at a time. Catch you next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific with more stories, tips, and that extra push you might need. I'm Debbie saying goodbye for now, but always remember, maybe, just maybe, you can.